You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Crypto Thanos has returned. Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. My girlfriend's lover tells me I have some great charts to share with you today because we have a huge action-packed week of what's happening in the markets, guys. We got Powell cutting rates on Wednesday. We have Trump meeting with Xi from China. They have the framework for a trade deal. Again, bullish catalyst. And we have massive seasonal inflows coming into the markets in November and December. Lee, throw up my chart. Don't let your ADD get the best of you. Leave it up there a few seconds. So there's the chart, guys. This is 100 years of data looking at the seasonal inflows into the equity space. Now, why does this matter if you only care about crypto? Because the equities are going to surge. They've already been putting on great rallies if you're watching my markets video, and crypto is a beta asset and it is going to rip your face off once it breaks out. So we're going to go over the key levels in this charts. As always, everything is timestamped. If you want to trade these markets, check out Bitunix. It's right there in the video description. I'll pin it in the comments. Fantastic exchange with market makers. You get a special bonus. And starting this week, it may start tomorrow, so you may want to hold off a day. We're going to be bringing in all the Bitunix VIP members as VIP level 3 to start off, and a special bonus. Guys, you want to learn these patterns? If you want to hang out in our Discord, click the join button there on YouTube, join our room, get our members' videos, and check out marketmakers.trade. Let's go ahead and start off on total. So this is all the money in crypto, and you're going to see this pattern repeat. A couple of key things here. We've been over this a couple times now. Crypto liquidation event, largest liquidation event. You lost $1 trillion, you bounce back, holding a key support fractal low. Now the pattern that's going to play out here, and you're going to see me do this on a couple different assets. Check it out. So what you have here is your 5-wave W fractal, your recovery pattern that formed just like this. And this pattern will ultimately bring you right back up towards these all-time highs for where you've had money in the market, okay? So you're going to see Bitcoin and some of the coins, maybe not all of them, but a lot of coins get a lift off of this. You had a breakout above your trend line. Your 5-wave W fractal broke out to the upside. Maybe you get a back test at some level, but the overall direction is up. Understand that the money coming into the market, the performance chasing that's going to happen from Wall Street, because only 22% of them are beating the market, it's going to be huge. And we have all the Mag 7 earnings. Well, the ones that are left this week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Powell cuts Wednesday, Thursday, the overbought 8. We already had Tesla. Nvidia is not until November. So the rest of them, the other 6 are all this week. If they come in as expected or strong, guys, this thing is going to rip. That's always your risk. If they do something horrible, then you know you're going to have some volatility and some problems. But overall, direction I believe Bitcoin's going is you're going to 140K, 150K Bitcoin, and you're going to see that, I believe, by December, the month of December, you will see that within that month. If we look at our top and bottom chart, how this market has played out repeatedly since 2013, we know that we have not topped yet. Why do I say that? Because our RMA warning line has not crossed the beach ball. It needs to cross 69K, and from that point on, we have 30 days to look for the all-time high. How effective has it been? Worked out in 2021 to a T within 30 days, all-time high. 77% sell-off. Worked out in 2017 within 30 days, all-time high. 75% sell-off. So what's going to happen here? Well, unless something changes, guys, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to have a massive sell-off in 2026 after the blow-off top. Now, people are asking me, well, what's the Bitcoin bottom gonna be? We have to know where the Bitcoin top is. The way I trade is with growth and decay ratios. So I need to see where the top is. But remember, back in 2021, Q4 of 2021, when Bitcoin was up here, above 60K. I said in 2022, you're looking at 10.5 Bitcoin. It went to 15.5. So let's just play a little game. Where could Bitcoin go? Well, if it comes up to my target of 150, and you get a normal 75% drawdown that you've done the last several cycles now, where does that take you guys? Mid-30s. Mid-30s in Bitcoin if you get the normal sell-off and if you hit the 150K target. That's going to change depending where you get to on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes higher, 168, 200, that low is going to be higher, right? And overall, you had a $3,000 low in 2018. You had a 15.5 low in 2022. And if you end up in the mid 30s or possibly 40s, you're going to have once again a much higher low because this decade's going to finish out bullish after the selling next year. Much bigger numbers are ahead. So, plan. I'm already in a Bitcoin long. Shared it with the members, made a video on it. We're going to look at this and see what we're looking at here. If we look at Bitcoin here on the daily time frame with our lunar cycle chart, you can see we topped exactly on the full moon of October 6th. We've had breakouts and breakdowns exactly on these lunar cycle changes. The next one to pay attention to is right over here at November 5th. November 5th is the next one to pay attention to. So maybe we get a little pullback and then we start bottoming and then we get the breakout. November 5th will be post all of this big news for the week. So it'll be important to watch that. But let's go ahead and look at this. Where's Bitcoin finding resistance at? Bitcoin is finding resistance right where you would expect it to. Why? Because you look at your fractals. Look at the breakout first, right? Crypto liquidation event, 8-hour chart, right? Rebound. 5-wave W fractal. It's in my education series. The breakout, we covered this last Bitcoin video. The breakout is on the 5th wave, right? Ultimately, looking at this to come back and bring us up to 118, 511, 121, 300. That's ultimately the direction based on the expansion ratios where this is going. And then you can have more consolidation or whatnot. But the big targets, guys, are up here off the larger pattern. 140, 150. That's where I think Bitcoin's going to be by December. These are the smaller wave movements here. Could you get a back test? Of course you could. We're going to look at this on the 1-hour chart. Could you end up coming back down, testing out your triangle that you broke out from? You could. So we're going to look at this. But this is the breakout. This is what you want to see. Form your W, break your midpoint fractal, and you're finding resistance right at your old high of 115,963. So 116K here on Bitunix is where you're finding resistance, and you're going to try to consolidate. Today's Monday. Obviously, the market's just open. Well, Sunday night futures, but you're having trading happen today, and they are up. So let's look at this on the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, just to understand some concepts here. You had your big crypto liquidation event, right? Crypto liquidation, big rebound, 1-hour time frame, and of course it got faded, right? The rebound faded. Oh my God, everything's crashing. This is it. Oh no, it's 1929. Plus it's 2008. Plus it's the .com. Everything's going down 70, 80%. Or what you could do is look at the charts, understand the seasonal buying that's upcoming, and understand the markets are going to rip. Market video is out next. And when we look at our range, we sold off 103,580. That'll vary on your exchanges, but that's all pretty close on this last sell-off. 103,580. Made this little trading range. We were talking about it in the Discord. You broke out from the trading range. You made 3 waves to a top. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, it's in my education. You sold off. Most importantly, you held the ceiling of that trading range. And it was right here. I had my Bitcoin buy zone video that I put out for members, guys. So if you take out that 107 and dip below it, dip below that 107, and it came all the way down on 106,700 and 106.7 again. This was a buying opportunity. And guess what? That's where I long Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is now up 7,000. It was up 8,000 points earlier this morning. So it's a nice move, right? So now if Bitcoin is going to give up some of this, where could it possibly go to? Well, we want to look at our trading ranges once again on the smaller time frame here. We can look at that range of 111, basically 112, and I would look at this range right down to 109.8. Okay, so if Bitcoin does start finding resistance Where would it find that resistance? Right over here, that 116, what it's hitting right now. If it does start finding that resistance, that's what you want to look for. Maybe you get a little baby double top, does something like this, starts breaking down, see if it enters this buy zone once again, and if it can hold and come back up. Because nothing moves like this. Nothing moves like this. And if it does, it's only for a brief time. It moves in waves. Now, what it's doing right now, granted, very small time frame, 1 hour time frame, that's very bullish what it's doing right now, okay? It's consolidating at a very high level near the highs. As a matter of fact, if it can stay above that midpoint of that W, which is 114, hyper bullish, right? But if it does dip down to 111, 109, 110, right in that area, see if it can hold that area for support, because that's just a consolidation range to potentially go up even higher. Now, if we look at, let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, same thing. We talked about the shapes they were making, and you saw the exact same pattern on Total, the exact same pattern on Bitcoin. 5-wave reversal breakout W pattern, okay? Look at this, how it played out. Just like this. Ultimately, this should drive you up towards your all-time highs. 46.79, that's the path of that breakout if it's to continue up. And what it's doing right now, let's just move this out of the way. What it's doing right now is it's retesting the midpoint of that fractal of wave 3. You see that? Breakout above, resistance at wave 3. It's going to try to consolidate, may come back down and retest the trend line down at 39.50, something like that. But as of right now, you're consolidating at a higher level, and your next immediate resistance level is 4,300. You flipped 4,100. See if you can hold this level, and then flip 4,300. You're going to 4,600, and the larger pattern for Ethereum, my Ethereum targets, you have 5,500 and 6,000. I think you're going to get to 6,000. Big, fat, round number once everything breaks out. And that's going to occur, I believe, in the month of November. You're going to see these inflows in the market. Once we get through all the noise this week of earnings, of Powell, of the Trump-China meeting, get through all of that. Watch the chase on from Wall Street to catch up to the market, since they all lost against it once again. And you're going to see it affect in cryptos. You'll see the flows coming in cryptos as well, okay? So important to watch these levels. If you're worried about the downside, you want to hold above 3,700. That's the low points here of your 5-wave reversal. You're at 4,150, but you want to hold above 3,700. Okay, that's important to do, but that's not a concern right now. Obviously, everything's looking to break out and start consolidating at higher levels. Now, if you like trading the BitMiner, Tom Lee's company, proxy for Ethereum, this thing's just slow moving, guys. And again, I don't know if you're going to see a big pop in this until you see Ethereum really take off, but it's worth tracking if you're interested in it. It's at 52 bucks. It needs to get above 65.60, and once it does that, your higher levels 95, 111, 133. Obviously, if Ethereum was to go towards 6,000, you should really see some massive momentum in BitMiner, but that's your immediate levels above you, and you want to hold above 40 bucks. So far, it's doing that. If we look at Zcash now, there's a bunch of guys, namely one guy, Eric, on that follows me anyways, that's on Zcash all over the place on X, okay? So he posts about it all the time. I shared my thoughts on Zcash there as well, so you can give him a follow. But I was talking about if it breaks above 310, it's off to the races, right? Your midpoint of what? Midpoint of your W fractal. Now, you formed an ABC, but you also had this nice W fractal right here that formed. You also formed an ABC. That target was 386.75, breaking the midpoint, came all the way up to 375, and it's just consolidating here. If it wants to do some back testing, you want to watch these highs, this 275 up to that 300 range, see if it comes back for a back test. But if not, and it consolidates at this higher level, much like it's doing now, because you have this level right here, this buy zone of 325, you can stay above 325. That's super, super bullish. These higher level targets are ahead. That's just based off this pattern. Doesn't mean that's the final top. Obviously, if Bitcoin does carry on to 140, 150, Zcash will blow through these levels as well. But this is the immediate targets of that pattern. Very bullish. Look at Solana. Solana did the same thing. Has the same pattern. You noticing something, guys? The way money flows through the markets, you see the same patterns over and over. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, your W fractal breakout reversal. Ultimately, this will carry you up towards 234 and 248. That would be your goal, but what Solana is doing right now, just like Ethereum, it's sitting on top of that fractal at wave 3, which is 197. Solana is 199. It's trying to hold this level. If it comes back down for a back test, watch the 175, the 185 range. See if it comes back down to that level. If it drips down this way, okay, see if it holds that level. But this is very bullish. It got above resistance. The next resistance level is 211. And then you're looking for your breakout to the upside, which is going to take you near the all-time highs, 234, 248, before it proceeds higher, okay? I believe the big coins are the easiest ones to look at for what's going to happen in the markets. You're looking at possibly 6,000 on Ethereum. Let's look at Solana. See if I drew these larger targets on here. Let's get this fib off of here, 4236. We don't need that guy. Take that off. Let's get a larger fib pattern here for this decline. Look at our decline from 253. Get some ranges. You're looking at $311 Solana, $350 Solana. Okay, so you're looking at big gains based on this pattern of decay, which will flip into growth. Let's just measure this, right? Let's just, from current price, you're looking at a 75% increase up to that 350 level, which would be nice. And so far, the pattern's tracking beautifully. You're making progress. It's a progressive thing here. You have your ABC down in Solana. You're accumulating. You made a W. You got above the first resistance. Get above 211. Then watch 234 to 250. Once you accumulate in there, or if you just bust through, you're headed towards 311 and 350. If we look at Doge, this was a request by a new sub on YouTube. I do read the comments, guys, so be sure to like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. So if we look at Doge here, first thing I would do, because the easiest thing I see when I was covering Doge before, guys, this obviously looks like a channel to me. So I convert this to a line chart, right? Grab my channel, tops, looking at this, line it up. This just shows you the closes. It doesn't show you the wicks. Try to get it precise as possible. And then we connect the bottom, right? So we look at it this way. And then we throw this into candles, and then you can see what Doge is doing, right? So look, you have a channel, big liquidation here. You had the big sell-off, but you're back at the base of the channel. So you recovered a lot, but you're at the base. So some altcoins are going to be less advanced than others. You have this upwards trending channel, and you're at the base of the channel. You have this little accumulation zigzag pattern. Really, to get more upside here on Doge, just look at this from this fractal perspective. You got to take out 22 cents. You're at 20 cents. Then you're looking at 27, and then you're looking at 29, right? This is your immediate targets on Doge. You need to see these levels taken out, and then we're going to be forming other patterns, and I can give you some larger target patterns. If we look at Doge here on the indicators, it bounced up off the canary. It's right at the midline. It's still bearish on the canary RSI. Your volume, you can clearly see, is an accumulation. Your momentum's trying to turn bullish, so it's just not as bullish as what you're seeing in some of the other altcoins and in Bitcoin. Be patient. It takes time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on X at Market Canary. I'll see you on the next one. Market video out next.